So welcome to another week of live with Brent and Lee. This is I'm tired today, Brent.
A long day.
I shot 2 houses today, so I'm a little out of it. So anyways, if this is the first time you've been to my channel, my name is Lee Brickin. On Wednesdays, we have live with Brent and Lee, and I'm joined by my good friend Brent Starts from United Lending. So Brent, how are you today, man?
Doing great. Getting moved into the new office here. Really looking forward to get started.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Brent has a new office, everybody. It's really super nice and has really nice lighting in it. Somebody put that up for him.
I know.
So
right?
anyways,
got a good friend to help me out with that.
Yeah, good friend helping out. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that now. Slap that subscribe button and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our real estate tips and tours. Because we're putting videos up every single week, and we're here every Wednesday or every week. If we missed a Wednesday a couple of weeks ago, but usually on Wednesdays we're here at 7 o'clock answering all of your questions about the real estate market in Florida, and especially South Florida, Palm Beach County, and the Treasure Coast. So, and don't forget that I'm a full-time real estate agent, and Brent is a full-time mortgage broker. So we're here to help you any way we can with buying and selling real estate in the South Florida market. So today we're going to talk about what's happening with prices dropping in the market right now. Is that something that you should be worried about if you're a seller and a buyer? Because I know a lot of my clients are asking, hey, Lee, what's happening with the market? We see prices dropping and more inventory on the market, and we also are seeing homes sitting a little bit longer than they were before. So we're going to talk about all of that, and we're going to talk about this looming recession that we are either going to have or not have. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation out there right now. I just lost my. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, Lee, but I can't see you.
All right, hold on. I can fix that. Sorry, this is live. This is what happens.
This is live. This is what happens.
All right, so let's throw up some slides here. So how will the market react to be impacted by the coming recession? That's what we're talking about. So thanks a lot. I just got things finished. Also, if you're on tonight, tell us where you're coming from. Sorry about the little bit of problem here. That's what happens when we're live sometimes. Things go down. But anyways, tell us where you're coming from, where you're listening from, and who you are, and bring your questions to us. So we'll answer them all tonight. So one of the things that we're seeing right now is we're actually seeing the market starting to normalize a tad this summer. I don't know how long that's going to last. What I want to do is pull up the South Florida numbers here. I show you guys this every week. I look at it every day. And let's see here. Everything went down on me. So
there we are.
All right. So last 7 days. So this is the last 7 days in all of the South Florida. So it would be St. Lucie County all the way to Dade County. We talk about this every week. So numbers are staying basically the same. 2,500 active listings, almost 2,600 active listings. We have 1,138 active under contract, and then you add the pending. We're sitting right around 2,000 under contract. So we're still running in a very tight market, and the absorption rate's 11 days. So as you can see, nothing's really changing much with the market right now. So it's homes are still selling very quickly. Last week we had a 14-day absorption rate. Now we're down to 11-day absorption rate. So that means absorption rates, how many days property sits on the market. So we definitely are still selling houses in South Florida, but there is a lot more inventory on the market today. And I think that's actually a good thing, because before, if you were selling your house, it was really hard to find a home. And now I think there's a lot more options. It's been a lot easier to find our sellers a home to buy, and also buyers coming into town have more options. And as I just talked about last week and dropped a video on new construction a couple of days ago, that video talks about that there is opportunity to negotiate at pretty much most of the new home builders. If you're looking at Riverland and GL, they're not negotiating at all, but everyone else is. So we definitely are seeing a lot of headlines. Americans worry about losing their jobs as recession fears grow. Why investors are increasingly worried about recession in America, and recession fears surge among CEOs. Survey suggests more than 60% of executives see a recession period in the next 12 to 18 months, according to the Conference Board survey. So the key is what's that mean to the market? And if you leave, there's a lot of, going on out there, Brent. Is it a recession? Is it not a recession? So here's what the National Bureau of Economic Research says. A recession is a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months. So we have a visible decrease in GDP right now. It's real income that is decreased because of inflation. The thing that's a little strange about, different about what we're in right now, Brent, is unemployment, man.
Right.
There are a ton of jobs available still. We are still not, and the job numbers are super low. And we still have a ton of jobs available, especially, like here in Florida, but really nationwide, there's a lot of jobs available. And, we're seeing problems with production and industry, but that's more of a supply chain issue. But, depending on where you are, retail's still surging.
Right.
And people are still traveling. So, I think this is one of the concerns for people is, how is this going to affect the real estate market? Should I buy now? Should I hold on to my money? Should I sell my home now and buy a home? Is this the best time to, buy a house, right? I mean, sell your home right now to buy another home, because, obviously the market's, still high. And so, what are your thoughts on all of this, Brent? Because,
Leah, a lot of debate on, what a recession is and what it isn't. I was saying in the intro there, just, really just, you have to just look at the numbers for yourself and look for yourself and see, and not make it an issue if it is or it isn't. Just very generally, things are slowing down. There's no denying that. The rate hikes that they've already been talking about, rate hikes, rates almost doubled in the mortgage industry. And so clearly that's going to have an impact, right, across the board. And now prime is being impacted as these rate hikes are actually taking place. And so now credit cards, that type of thing, it constricts spending. And so that, in turn, slows economic activity. And then the last thing that happens, like, hey, we need to make cutbacks. Companies start laying people off, and some anticipate this and start to lay people off. However, the unemployment rate, that's the mystery, right? It's a 3.6% right now nationwide. The labor participation rate, it's worthy to note that that's down. So the number of discouraged workers, people that just didn't were left the workforce during COVID, never to return, finding ways to do other things, side hustles, whatever they're doing to make money. They're not officially employed. And so, that's kind of one of the one-offs that, COVID was kind of a very unique situation. So, but we are starting to see where, unemployment figures are coming out. They come out once a month, not unemployment, the employment figures. So that comes out Friday at 8:30 in the morning. We watch that very closely because that's what the Fed really is looking at to see, hey, what's that unemployment rate? Are people losing their jobs? Or are they still gainfully employed? Every Thursday, 10 in the morning, the new jobless claims come out. So that gives you some indication of what that monthly figure. So the July, employment figures are going to come out Friday, and that's going to really set the tone for probably, for the next 30 days. That's going to have a large impact on how the Fed moves going forward. Are they going to raise those rates? And now it's built in that they pretty much assume there'll at least be a 0.5 point increase in September 20th, which is the next Fed meeting. So that will impact credit cards even further, car loans, things like that. The mortgage markets, go in another direction, frankly.
So I just threw up this screen. So, past 5 recessions, mortgage rates have fallen an average of 1.8%. So explain to people why, the folks listening here, why the rates are dropping when mortgage rates everywhere else are going up on cars, credit cards, things like, furniture. If you go and get finance anything right now, it's more expensive, but then we're looking at mortgage rates going down and for a lot of people, they don't understand why that is happening and why that could continue to happen. So explain that for us, Brent.
Yeah, be happy to. Yeah, your mortgage, if you will, is someone else's investment, right? Your mortgage is someone else's investment. And so, you have to ask yourself is, rates went as high as almost 6%, and for some, credit score, some credit profiles, just 4 weeks ago, rates were over 6% for some people for mortgages. And so rates have to, you have to ask yourself, if you're an investor, if you're buying mortgages, and let's say you're running a pension fund, you're responsible for that pension fund, you have to get the highest return you can for your retirees. People are going to, depend on that retirement money, 30 years from now. So mortgages qualify for institutional investors. So that's really the number one market that buy bonds, right? So what do we need to put that rate at to attract people to buy those mortgages, to fund those mortgages that are happening for refinances and purchases? And so the mortgage market responds, and it's a bond. It's actually sold as a bond investment. And so the demand for mortgages is increased. What happens is, in a recession, it's anticipatory that they anticipate it in the mortgage market. We know as we go into recessions, the Fed will then have to start lowering rates. So as the Fed is trying to fight inflation now, that's the primary fight they've had, starting in December, January of this year rather. And so now that slowdown is taking hold, and when the Fed sees jobs starting to be lost, that type of thing, or economic slowdown, they have to then they anticipate, hey, you know what, we might have overdone it a little bit. We might have to tap the brakes here. So the mortgage market is telling us in the last 6 or 7 weeks or so that, hey, we might have overdone it. So mortgage rates are actually dropping in spite of the Fed raising these rates on the Fed funds rate.
Right. And Brent, that's really why I tell people right now, especially when you're looking at new construction, is that these builders are offering these locks, but they're not offering the ability to get the lower rate if the rate improves. And so explain that right now and how important that is, because I mean, you're buying new construction. Even if you're buying a spec home, you're looking at 4 to 6 months for that home to move in. I mean, rates could be dramatically different. They could be higher, but they could be lower, and the odds are they're probably going to be lower, in my opinion. I know that's your opinion too, and the opinion of a lot of other very, very smart people. So
Yeah, we may have seen the peak in interest rates for mortgages. I'm going to specify for mortgages specifically. It's definitely trending. The bond's trending up, which is an inverse relationship. So interest rates are going down clearly, and it's a clear trend now. It's not time to shut the lights off and go home. We watch it every day in real time. I mean, the bond market today was swinging, 70 some points either way today, which is a big swing in interest rates. The 10-year treasury went from 2.51 to as high as 2.78 or something like that this morning and ended back down. So those are incredible swings and volatility. So the market's trying to find itself, frankly. So it's really important to lock on a good day, and certainly to lead to your point, the importance of, no one knows exactly. No one has a crystal ball. No one knows where rates are going to be exactly 4 months from now. And so the shrewd thing to do is to cover your bases, especially if you're in a situation where your debt to income ratio is tight, where you really can't afford rates to go up and you'll no longer afford the home. We locked a bunch of loans like 5 months ago, 4 and 5 months ago, and we closed them all last month. And these people were just ecstatic because they were closing.
Some of them wouldn't have closed.
Oh my goodness. Some of them wouldn't have closed, and some of them saved, tens of thousands of dollars in interest over the life of their loan because, the rates, they locked in were much lower. So what we want to do is protect for either situation, right? If rates go up, we can, we're locked. If they go down, we can do a renegotiation and a float down, or, break the lock, so there's a lot of options that we have to protect buyers in the new construction market.
Right. And, I've just threw this screen up, mortgage rates and recession. So, I bought my home in the 90s, and I was sitting around 11%, when we bought our home. But if you look at this, you can see where rates, in 1980, I was in school then. I remember my dad griping about it, and you can see, rates were up, up to 16%. I mean, so COVID, we were looking at, we went down to 2.75%. But if you look at, from 2007 to 2009, rates moved from 6% to 4.8%. Now, I remember when that happened, and that was, 2008, when, they dropped the rates to 4.8%, and that sped the market up there. But we were in a buyer's market back then. Now we're in a seller's market, so it's a little bit different situation. Right. But the 10-year average is around 4.5%, correct?
Right.
So that would be so we can get back to in the fours. We would be more in a normal, mortgage rate market.
I think so.
As, right.
Right. I believe so. Yeah. If we, right now, we were in the, in the 6% range, what, 6-7 weeks ago. And now we're in the, that same credit profile is in the, low to mid fives. That's a pretty substantial drop in such a short period of time. And that the market's just saying, hey, you know what, there's demand for these mortgages. It's back, globally. American real estate, U.S. soil has value because it's considered a very stable government, very stable, economic system. We lead the world. We're the largest economy. And so, real estate, mortgages guaranteed by American real estate has value in the global marketplace. And so there is a tremendous demand for, mortgages secured by U.S. soil. So,
right.
Yeah.
And it's my opinion, and you tell me if you agree with this, and all of you can comment on this also, if you're listening, if rates go down again, I see the market really, catching some more steam.
Yeah.
Because we're still in a real housing shortage, especially here in Florida.
Absolutely. you watch what someone does, not necessarily all that they say, right? I mean, we're moving into an office and we're growing for a reason.
Right.
We really believe that, this COVID thing, it was a little one-off situation, a very unique situation, as the 2008 financial crisis was a very different situation as well, where, it was just a lot of bad loans. So, every recession kind of has a unique, set of factors but what we're seeing right now, like you're saying, Lee, is there's just an incredible housing shortage in Florida. And so when rates do drop, because what's going to happen, two successive slowdowns in GDP, and all the CEOs basically are saying, hey, we see a significant slowdown, if not a full-blown recession or worse. Some even saying, if we see that, that'll bring rates back down, and you're going to have the perfect storm again. You're going to, migration patterns coming to Florida. Everyone's coming here, not enough housing, millions of new households where millennials are starting to form households and needing housing. So all those factors and lower interest rates than, they were. And I think that it's a healthy thing to see a 6% rate, because that's kind of normal. You know what I mean? Stuff in the 2s or 3s even, that's not normal. That was, because of COVID. So it was to respond to the recession, basically to bring rates down, to keep economic activity plugging along as best they could.
Right. And I'm noticing right now too that the more expensive properties are selling much faster than, say, the stuff right around 300, 400,000. We're seeing properties, 700 to 2 million just flying off the shelf right now. And and that's the thing I want, I want, everyone to get from this, is that right now Brent's business is growing and our business is growing. We're having the biggest year we've ever had right now. And there's factors to that, but we're seeing, repeat clients coming back, selling their homes, buying new homes, especially now that the market slowed a little bit, because there's some inventory on the market that right now that you can buy. So even though it's more expensive than it was, 3 years ago, it's still, it's there. So, but we're seeing prices much higher. But with that being said, with new communities coming in, these couple of new communities, especially in Port St. Lucie coming in, I think there's going to be some opportunities for FHA. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for FHA, and I'm hoping we can get back to the FHA VA loans where we're not having to fight to get them accepted. We can just put in an offer and get an FHA and VA loan accepted, because I think that is something that has really been, in my opinion, one of the 3 biggest things I see in this, in the last, couple of years here, that has been a real problem, because the market has been so hot that if you weren't conventional or cash, then you weren't buying. And really, cash was overtaking so many conventional loans. And now, those loans are, we're getting, you'll look at a home and, even if there's multiple offers, they're all financing. There's not as much cash coming in the market as there was before.
Right. Well, I'm excited for the opportunity for that buyer that's 300 to 450, that entry level FHA VA borrower right now, because there's some opportunity as far as inventory. There's more flexibility, and that's something a lot of times you don't see. So I think there are some, especially in that range.
Right. So, and here's, we've shown this slide here before, but I think it's something that really people need to really understand, that recession doesn't equal a housing crisis. Right. And we saw that in 2008, but again, we were in a buyer's market. Now we're in a seller's market. And so there's not enough inventory. We have all these millennials coming into the market right now. They're buying. There's a lot of jobs a lot of jobs out there. I mean, we were just talking, Lisa and I ran into one of her kids that she used to teach in kindergarten. years ago, and her family, and the son that she used to teach for the family, we ran into him at Costco, and he's going to school to become an engineer, and every one of these kids coming out of school becoming an engineer, starting in 6-figure jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, these jobs are paying.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some high paying jobs out there, and they're paying because they can't get enough employees.
Right.
So I have not yet seen any indicators that we're going to see a housing crisis here.
No.
Right now we are still, we have 4 listings this month that we're putting up right now. We've got 2 more coming, and all of those people are buying. And then we have buyers, and then we have new construction closing. I mean, we're putting on, Lisa's been working with me. We've got another agent that's starting to work with us. We have 2 more agents we're talking to right now about bringing on. So, we're anticipating the third quarter of this year, which is typically the biggest quarter, to be a big quarter for everyone.
Right.
And I think, I really think that, next year, if we can start getting back to more of a balanced market, where, house sits on the market for 30 days, right? I mean, that's really what we're looking for, which is still a seller's market, but the house is on the market for 30 days, right? So we can get back to that kind of market. That's going to be good for everyone. And I think that, what I want people to understand, and I know a lot of real estate agents are freaking out right now because they might have gotten in the market the last 2 years, and then they see all this craziness, right? This isn't good for the economy. It's not good for the housing market. It's not good for buyers. It's not good for sellers, and it's not good for anyone.
Right.
I mean, being an agent and having to call a whole bunch of people up and tell them, hey, you're not buying the house. I can't get, we've accepted a different offer, or being on that side, either way is no fun.
Right.
So
it's just not, it just hasn't been a normal market. And it's not, like you say, Lee, it's not a healthy market because, this over exuberance, it's kind of like, interest rates don't go into the 2s. They just don't. I mean, because, they don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there's if you're selling homes like right now, 11 days, I mean, that's nothing. Normal, nationwide, a normal market's like 3 months, and so, nationwide. And so, it's just, there's still tremendous demand. And so, I think normalizing a little bit, having some inventory to choose from is a normal market, and seeing, getting back to that 5% appreciation a year, or a little more, maybe, some a little less, some more, but in that range, it's really nice and steady. And if you look at a real estate investment, I tell people 30 years from now, when you're going to you'd be renting a home for 4 times what rent is now, right? Do the math on it, because what were you renting a home for 30 years ago? Well, you're about 25% of what you'd be doing now, or you could have, or you could be, in a free and clear home, 30 years from now. And that's why you see it's such a tremendous advantage to own real estate. And I think, a lot of times people look at real estate as, and even their home, as like a stock or some type of investment. And it has an investment component, clearly. But by and large, it's a hedge against inflation. You're locking in time, and you're not in a situation where you're, forced to move because the landlord wants to sell his home or live in it himself, or, you know what I mean? All the advantages of home ownership, the tax, benefits, and all of that. Put all that aside. Just the knowledge, knowing you're going to own a home in 30 years versus paying, outrageous amount in rent every month, as far as, moving towards retirement and true financial independence. It's a day and night difference. And so I see sometimes people get concerned about, no, it's $150 more, $200 more per month now. $200 more per month is what, $2,400 a year, and your home's going up $20,000. You know what I mean? If you would have owned it, you know what I mean? So it's like,
if rates come down, you can refinance.
Absolutely. And so I think, because a lot of times people, they're just stepping over, opportunity.
I think, we get used to things so quickly, in this country where, we got used to homes just flying off the market the way they did. Right. And so I really want to end this call today by, going through a few points that I think buyers and sellers need to understand of what's happening and what it would take for us to see the market just collapse, right? Number one, when banks have tightened up their qualifications so tight that there is very, very little bad paper on the market. So you would have to have a massive, layoff situation for people to foreclose enough so that it would cause a 2008 crash.
You have 14 years of full doc loans. There are no.
Right. I mean, there was no. I mean, we actually have some things, loans out there right now where there's bank statement loans. There's different. There's different opportunities for people right now, and entrepreneurs especially to get finance. I mean, the rates, not that great, but at least they're able to buy a home without having to, divulge all of their or show all of the income that they're making, so that they can reinvest that income in their business. And it just makes sense a lot of times for an entrepreneur to pay a higher rate and keep their cash in their business so they can grow their business.
Right. But they're putting 20% down.
Right. Especially now. Right. So, we'd have to see a massive layoff for that to happen. Right now, we're not even at 4%, job loss yet. I mean, we're still under 4%. So, I mean, that's used to be that 4% was full employment in the U.S., so until like 6 years ago, right? I mean, 4% was considered a full employed market. So we're not even there yet. So people would have to really lose their jobs. You don't have people with multiple homes right now like we did in 2008, right? So that's another thing. So your lawn guy, it doesn't have 7 homes, right? That doesn't happen. He's got to get to buy investment real estate. You're going to have to either live in it and then rent it, or you're going to have to put 20% down to get it. And if you can put 10% down, but you have to have really, really good credit. So most people are putting 20% down on any kind of investment property. So what's happening is the hedge funds are buying all the investment property. I mean, we were in Delray today, and right off Atlantic Avenue, obviously it's a big real estate investment firm, but it's bought up the whole street and they're tearing everything down. I mean, they're tearing down, I think I counted like 10 houses, and they're going to just build, retail and restaurants there. So, they're commercial real estate. That's the other thing, that you can't find commercial real estate right now. We're having a terrible time finding commercial real estate. And that means that there's a lot of jobs moving, and there's companies eating up that commercial real estate. And there's a lot of commercial real estate being bought right now and sold. So, not just rented, but bought and sold. So that's another thing that we're seeing. So, the last time we saw the market collapse, there was a lot of commercial real estate on the market. It wasn't growing like there is now. And I think that, I just don't see any indicators that at this point that we're going to see any kind of market crash. We're just going to see the market move back into more of a normalized market. So, if you're a seller and you're thinking, wow, I need to sell my home right now, but you can't find something that you like, my opinion would be stay in your home. I'm a real estate agent, but I'm not trying to move anybody. I mean, we have a friend right now, a client of ours. I'm telling him to stay in his home.
Right.
Working on that. We're working on it together, but I'm telling him to stay in his home right now. It's the best thing for him right now.
Right now, it is absolutely.
We're not trying to move anybody out and just sell a house. We want to take care of everyone. So, but if you're a buyer, and I know I've gotten emails and text messages and comments that, hey, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and wait for the market to drop. Well, if you're listening to somebody that's telling you that, they're not out on the street selling real estate. That's all, especially in the state of Florida, because that is not, I don't see that happening at all. You're going to turn around a year from now and you're going to pay more for a house than you're paying now. You probably will have a better rate, but you're going to pay more for a house. And the thing is, you can always refinance, but you can't get that $25,000 or $50,000 back that you would earn in equity. And if you wait for 2 years, you're going to pay a lot more for the house. I think, and if we just get back, I say this every week probably, but I know not to beat a dead horse, but if we get back to just a normal market in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast, you're looking at anywhere between 3 to 10% a year, depending on where that home is. Like we have a listing right now we're about to put up in Delray. It's a beautiful home. It's in a non-HOA area. It's right a mile and a half south of, west of Atlantic Boulevard. This house is brand new. It's a year old. What they're doing in this neighborhood is it's like kind of like the Heights here in Jupiter. They're tearing homes down though, because it's such an old neighborhood, and they're building brand new ones. And then the ones that aren't being built brand new, you're seeing where people are rehabbing the house, putting impact glass and everything in it. So, you got a house that needs to be torn down, and you got a house that's, nice. And then you have a house that's brand new. The house that we're selling brand new has, you've seen it. It has a resort for a backyard.
Beautiful.
This house is literally blocks from the ocean and blocks from downtown Delray, right off Atlantic Avenue. You could Airbnb it for 10 grand a month right now. There's no two ways about it. But that house, we're putting on the market at $750,000. I believe we're going to have a bidding war on it, because just the backyard alone, he's got $250,000 in it easy. And the thing is that this little neighborhood, because it's what it is, it's going to grow. The equity in this neighborhood is going to grow faster than the equity in a neighborhood that is super nice, right? So those are the things that you want to be looking at. Where you're looking at, Port St. Lucie, there's a lot more run in Port St. Lucie than there is in Palm Beach County. And then there's a lot more run in like a Lake Park, which is right down the road, or North Palm Beach, than there is in Jupiter. So, but just the normal market in all of these markets in South Florida, we're going to still be looking at anywhere between 3 to 10% a year in equity if the market just gets back to where it was before COVID.
Right. Just supply and demand. Just supply, not enough homes.
Right. Yeah. And I actually think that it's going to continue to grow a little faster because of the millennials coming in the market.
Right. And if you wonder how far it can go, I mean, there were, when Silicon Valley was just booming, and if you wanted to be in that area and live in that area, I used to help people refinance and purchase homes in that area in San Francisco. And, homes got to the point where, a 1,400 square foot home where, there's 2 bedrooms, the third bedroom was a converted garage, and you had no place to park. And it was a rundown home going for $1.2 million. And, right. I'm not super picky, but I wouldn't live in it. I wouldn't live in the neighborhood. Right. It's like, it gets ridiculous. And so it's really a supply and demand thing. And, just a tremendous number of people wanting to move there and be close
well,
to that.
And the nice thing about Florida is even the neighborhoods that needed some help are starting to get, and the communities that needed help are starting to get much nicer now, because
around.
The cities are pulling in so much tax revenue. They're coming in and they're putting in street lights, and they're putting in sidewalks, and they're and people are taking more care of their property because the community is improving. So we're seeing that all over South Florida right now, and so I think it's going to continue to happen. And we'll keep coming on every week and showing you the numbers. But if you look at the numbers we're showing you every single week on the 7-day average, it's actually getting tighter. Even though there's more inventory on the market, the days on the market are decreasing. And that means that if there's, if we're seeing the days on the market decreasing, then that means that the market's still staying tight, and that means prices are going to keep going up. Anything else you have to add, Brent, before we shut it down today?
No, I think you covered it, Lee. We got to watch this really close. Friday, the employment figures are going to come out. That's a big indicator of the direction of rates and mortgage rates, certainly. And so we watch that in real time. But that, it's something we're going to talk about next week, because that'll kind of drive rates to a large degree in the next 30 days.
Yeah, and I was in a builder the other day, and I just want to add this before that. If you're looking to buy new construction, I know a lot of people that watch our channel are looking to buy new construction. If you're looking to buy new construction, definitely reach out to a mortgage broker if you're not around here. If you're in Florida, reach out to Brent. He's the best there is in Florida. He'll help you. He cares about you. There's a lot of things Brent does that other lenders don't do. So if you're looking at new construction, you definitely want to reach out to a lender, because or you want to make sure you're talking to the lender for the builder. And if they're talking locks, hey, listen, if rates improve in 6 months, or, are you going to give me the better rate? Make sure you're asking that question. If they say no, you want to move away from that lender, because you could end up paying a lot more in mortgage rate than you need to. And also, right now, we have a little bit more inventory on the market. There's more going on. I'll leave the video I just made on new construction at the end of this video tomorrow, but definitely want to know that there is negotiations in most properties right now in new construction to be had. So with that being said, hey, thanks again for all of you joining us every week. We're actually growing. Every week we're getting a little bit more people, and please leave comments. Leave your comments, your questions. I know that a lot of you have done that. I answer all the comments, all the questions. Brent helps me sometimes, but we really appreciate you guys all getting on and being a part of our community here and supporting us. And we love supporting you and helping you with all of your real estate needs, and sharing with you boots on the ground, what's happening in the market every single week. We're in it every week. We're not just sitting here in the back saying, hey, we're giving you, like, we're reading newspapers. We're out selling and buying real estate every single week. So thanks again for joining us. Again, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, slap that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Be kind to each other. We'll see you next week.